Come on. It's here.
Yep, that's right, a big fat snare drum. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you might know that I've been messing around trying to make a homemade version. So instead of just reviewing this thing, I'm going to compare it to some homemade options. So of course, I'm going to test the original big fat snare drum. And I'll be comparing it with this cutting board mat that I cut into a circle. This placemat slash desk mat thing. And then also a piece of cork. And the categories I'll be testing are price, durability, and of course, sound. So first up is price. I was able to find a set of 3 of these cutting board mats on Amazon for only $6. And then also on Amazon, I found a cork placemat for $6, but it's only one single mat. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much the blue placemat cost, but I found one similar on Walmart's website for $10, so we'll just say it's $10. And then the big fat snare drum is $20. So the cutting board mat as well as the cork mat will get a check. And now next I'll talk about the durability. So the cutting board mat is made out of a pretty thin plastic, and I thought this would work really well, but it turns out it dents really easily. So you can see here there's a giant dent where I've been hitting it. And this really messes with the sound because it doesn't sit flat on the head anymore. So basically every time you hit it, you know, there's no tone of the drum left. It's just a lot of buzz from the snares. And here's another shot. You can see it's basically turned into a giant potato chip. And now next is the cork. The cork, it won't dent like that plastic cutting board mat, but if you've ever handled a sheet of cork, you know how fragile it is. And you can see here that, well, I cracked it. And now that crack isn't from playing on it, it's from dropping it and it falling on, you know, the corner, and it, you know, the weight of itself folding over on itself caused it to crack. And now the placemat slash desk mat thing. So of the 3 homemade versions, this one is definitely the most durable. You can see how flexible it is, and unlike the cutting board mat, it's not as stiff, so it's not going to dent up like that one did. And now the big fat snare drum is also really flexible. It's not as flexible as the blue mat, but again, it's flexible enough that it's not going to crack or anything like the cork did, and also it's hard enough that it's not going to dent up like the cutting board mat. So as far as durability goes, the big fat snare drum and the desk mat both get a check. So now the part you all have been waiting for, the sound test. So, the cutting mat. It sounds decent, but like I said before, it's not that durable. The plastic is too soft and it's too malleable. And even though this is the cheapest one, and the one that sounds the closest to the original Big Fat Snare, it's not worth it, because every time you play on it, it'll just turn into a Pringle. So because of that, I have to eliminate it. So now the cork. I was kind of skeptical about this one from the beginning. It seemed a little too heavy and a little too thick. And yes, it does change the pitch of the drum, but at the same time, it chokes it. So really, you're only hearing the bottom head. So it's really boxy and hollow sounding, which really isn't what you want in a snare drum. So because of that, it's gotta go. So that just leaves the placemat and the Big Fat Snare. And now, even though these two sound completely different, I like the sound of both of them. The placemat is really thuddy. There's a lot of attack. There isn't a lot of tone, but there's still, a lot of snare response. While the Big Fat Snare is completely different. There's a lot more low end. It's a lot airier, I guess you could say. I hate describing how things sound. It's kind of airier and kind of fuller. So really, I like both of them. But at the end of the day, there has to be one winner. And out of all of these options, I see myself using the Big Fat Snare the most often. So the desk mat has a different sound. It's a unique sound. It's a very specific sound that I don't really see myself using that often. While on the other hand, I see myself using the Big Fat Snare drum more often because it's more versatile. Now, yes, it is a specific sound, but as far as the musical applications for this sound, it is much broader than what I would use the placemat for. So on top of that, it's made in the USA. Also, if you think about it, $20 isn't that much. Basically, you're getting a second snare drum for only $20, which is a killer deal. But I also wanted to share this comment that the owner/creator of the Big Fat Snare drum left on one of my videos actually. It says, "I understand you're trying to make a cheap solution, but believe me when I tell you I've tried everything. I built the Big Fat Snare since I was tired of having the homemade solutions denting after a week and the perimeter of the head curling up and becoming annoying while playing." We saw that with the cutting mat, pretty dented, it's a potato chip now, doesn't really sit flat on the head. It took 2 years of experimenting with materials to come up with the right blend and weight of the head. We saw that also, a lot of weight isn't good. And then this last sentence really drives the point home. You could spend all this time making a crappy looking and sounding version of the head, or you could just buy one for $20. Only $20. $20 is not that much money, alright? $20. Think about it. You spend like $9,000 on cymbals and $1 million on your drums, so what's $20? So yeah, I guess you could say that is my official Big Fat Snare drum review. It's a great product. I definitely recommend it. So if you're trying to buy one, check out their website, bigfatsnaredrum.com. Tell them I say what's up. Also, I really hope you check out these playlists. I got some DIY projects, got a few drum hacks. I also have a second channel, but I mainly post drum stuff on this channel. So if you're into drum stuff, I really hope you subscribe to this channel. But that's it for this one. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.